anybody wants to introduce themselves in the webinar chat, it's always fun to see where you guys are coming from, since we are a national movement. So exciting to do something both with universality and subsidiarity. All right, guys and gals, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here and get started with our webinar today. Katie?
All right. Hello and welcome to iGiveCatholic's second annual Top 10 Roundtable webinar. My name is Katie Hare, and I am the program manager for iGiveCatholic. And I am joined by Lisa Shalacy, the national director. And she will be moderating our panel discussion today, along with 10 of our participating organizations, including parishes, schools, and ministries. We are so grateful for each and every one of you for participating with us today. And for those of you who might be new or unfamiliar with iGiveCatholic, iGiveCatholic is a bishop-led 501c3 nonprofit serving U.S. Catholic organizations. This is our 10th year. And this is the second year we are inviting participating organizations who have had particular success in their campaigns to share the different things, the different strategies that made them so successful. And our hope is to encourage #holy plagiarism, that you may take what they share back to your parishes, schools, and ministries and bear fruit in your own campaigns. So let us begin, as we begin all things, in prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. O Lord, giver of life, we know that all that we are and all we have are gifts from you. We live in a world that celebrates consumption, but you call us to be good stewards of all you have entrusted to us. May this Giving Tuesday prompt us to gratitude and generosity that brings nourishment to the hungry and hope to the hopeless. We pray that iGiveCatholic may be a miracle of loaves and fishes, where every gift shared lovingly from a grateful heart becomes bread for the multitudes, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. In this giving and receiving, may our hearts rejoice in you alone, who are Lord, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So just a quick word of thanks to all of our sponsors. We, of course, are a nonprofit organization, so these sponsors help us to keep our fees as low as possible so that we can serve more Catholic organizations each year. As we begin our moderated conversation, we really value your questions and input, so please feel free to put those in the chat. And then as we move forward, we'll do our best to make sure that we address them, but they will definitely be addressed at the end. We'll have a section for Q&A towards the end of the discussion.
Just want to make a quick note before we pop out of this. The Q&A, if you enter a comment or a question in the Q&A box, only Katie and myself will see that question, and we'll try to answer it at an appropriate time, which may be during the Q&A at the end. If you put something in the chat box, then everyone can see it, or you can send it to just hosts and panelists. But just wanted to make that clarification. And now we're gonna stop sharing as we invite George Murphy and Katie Washington up to unmute yourself to start our conversation. Do we see George and Katie here? Katie Washington, I see Katie. Well, I'm waiting to see Katie's actual face.
Hi.
Hi, Katie. Good to see you. Is George with you?
George is on a separate. You're going to have to let him in.
Oh, Katie, elevate George.
We are in 2 locations.
Oh, perfect. George Murphy?
George Murphy. George Murphy.
All right.
There was a question that just came in that said, oh, wait, we forgot to do this. Katie's going to do this now. Will there be a recording of this? Yes, we are going. All iGiveCatholic webinars are recorded, and we put them on the trainings page after the training has ended, so that you can access the recording. There's also a reference document. As we were preparing for this this webinar, we created a reference document that has basically the cliff notes of the conversations that we've had with these 10 amazing organizations. So it's more information you're going to hear in today's webinar. So we invite you to check the chat box to look for that. You can download that PDF, which is also available on the trainings page of iGiveCatholic. So you can follow along. That is the order of organizations we're going to be speaking with today. It's got the topic we plan to talk to them about today, and then other stuff that they did really great. So here we go. Let's get started. Hi, George. How are you?
Doing swell. How about you?
Pretty great. So Katie and George are from St. Thomas More Catholic Newman Center and Parish in the University of South Carolina in the Diocese of Charleston. And George was their #1 peer-to-peer fundraiser this year. Congratulations, George.
Thank you. Thank you.
And as we were looking at this, I see that's 2 years in a row that you won this peer-to-peer fundraiser challenge. Is that true?
That is 2 years in a row, indeed.
So tell me, okay, so how much did you raise last year and how much did you raise this year for your campus?
Last year, if I remember correctly, it was about 9,500. This year, it was about 16,000.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. All right, here's the opportunity. Tell us your secrets. Tell us the gold. Drop some gold on us.
Well, Katie and the team do a really good job of setting it up. Our pastor, Father Williams, does a good job of incentivizing it. I mean, we make it a competition. Our students love competitions, especially when it comes to defending a title, you know, back to back, 2 years in a row, graduating senior. I had a lot of motivation. But it was a really good mix of, I think, encouraging students to reach out to our own circles. Obviously, Katie and Father being splendid at their jobs, they have lists of people for us to reach out to, lists of people that they reserve for themselves to reach out to, some of the more established parishioners. But I was given lists of alumni, and you know, I kind of had the opportunity to look at the lists and say, oh, these are the people that I know that I can reach out to. Or for the people who don't, I have an opportunity to just kind of make a pitch of like, hey, you don't know me, but you know this parish. Here's what we're doing. Here's where we are. And I think that's like the best way that I found success was just by saying, this is what we're doing. This is how great things have been lately. We're growing so fast that we can't fit in the church. Like, here's where this money goes. And people want that. People want to give to that. And I think that's like a common theme nowadays in the church. I think that's how so many campus ministries are able to do what they do, is people actually want to give. I think that's how groups like Focus are able to exist on a fundraise salary, you know, structure, is people want to support ministry. And so just people are kind of waiting to be asked, especially when it's somewhere they have a connection to. Or the other thing that Katie and Father Williams balanced very well was saying like, hey, reach out to your families, reach out to aunts and uncles, friends, people. And so people who know me and have known me in college have had an opportunity to, you know, see what this place means to me. And so I just get to share that to them and make like an explicit invitation. So yeah, just a good balance of like the parish context, the family context, and then obviously competition is a great incentive among college students, I would say.
You know what? The competition is a great incentive among a lot of people. So how did you send out that request? I mean, I know I see that Katie told us that she gave each of the students who signed up for the fundraiser. And y'all who are listening, we have on the reference page, you can click a link to a PDF of this recruitment flyer Katie put up last year that she shared with us, that had all the incentives that she was offering students to encourage them to participate as a fundraiser. But she would give a list of 50 of the parish, the community center's donors with their phone number and email address that you could call. Okay, so we know how you reach to them. You called them, you talked to them. What about your own contacts? How did you share about asking people to donate to your page? Is it social media, email, text?
Yeah, I mean, for me, if it's the people I know, it depends on how I know them. Like, I know my college student buddies are going to be more like I can text them, versus, you know, someone, an adult, maybe a friend of my parents or someone who knows me, like that's like a phone call or an email. I'm going to do that up in a little more of a professional way, versus a college student. I mean, I had friends who graduated last year who I was like, hey, I'm in a competition against a freshman girl, help me out. And that was enough. I mean, that's like $2,000 right there. But that was enough for some guys to jump in. But I mean, it was emails and phone calls and just like reaching out, usually first by email and asking, or text, depending on the person, and asking for an opportunity for a phone call. And if they didn't have time for a phone call, I said, okay, well, here's the pitch I can give you over text or over email. and then I just kind of say what I would have said over a phone call then.
Man, you have a career in fundraising or sales, man, because that is really smart and strategic. Like, you're thinking about your audience and how they would receive you best. And somebody asked a question in Q&A, how does the organization know that George was the one that solicited that donation? Well, you sent them your own personal URL from your peer-to-peer page so that they could donate to your peer-to-peer page. The money goes to, you know, the Newman Center's ultimate campaign. But when you're competing, you get the credit for that donation because you're sending them your URL.
Yep.
That's really great. Well, thank you, George. And we meant to say this earlier, but last year we went a little bit over time because it's so exciting to talk to 10 different ministries, but we have 60 minutes. So we're going to try to rain gold for 60 minutes. Thank you so much for what you do. Congratulations on almost wrapping up. And I know you have a class to go to, so we'll let you stick around as long as you can and then head off to class. Thank you, George. Thank you for sharing some time with me and sharing some of your secrets with us.
Thank you. Thank you for all that you do.
All right, take care. Next up is Alan Holdren from St. John's Catholic School in Salina, in the Diocese of Salina, Kansas, and Beloit, Kansas. Let's see if we can find Alan for him. Hello, Alan. Oh. And wait a second, there's a special guest there too. Who else is with you, Alan?
So we got Father Jarrett Conrady here. He's our superstar.
He is your superstar. Like, you went global, dude. Like, all these social media challenges like took off all over the place. Well, Katie told me that this might be during your 8th grade entrepreneurship class. So I see that you're in your classroom, but your students are not there. Is that correct?
That's right. It turns out we've got a teachers in service today. So
well, maybe that's better anyway. Maybe you can show them the recording of your part. Well, we invited you guys here today because, as you know, and anybody who follows iGiveCatholic on social media knows, that some of your social media posts went absolutely viral and got picked up by international Catholic news agencies. And as a result, I think perhaps it elevated your entire campaign. You raised $275,000 last year. How much did you actually expect or hope to raise coming to the campaign?
Yeah, we had a conversation before this, just asking ourselves if this was the right moment to have a campaign, because we had a fire in our church a couple of years ago. It's been 3 years.
3 years
ago
this June, yeah.
And so we went through a $3.6 million campaign to get everything back renovated in the church. So we were wondering if this was really something we should do. And so we met about it. We came up with some ideas. We went through a couple of different iterations. The first one was Dude Father, like Dude Perfect, and basing it on Father is very athletic. And so there could be some sort of world records that we might set or something. And then we had to get a little bit more realistic and think, all right, what can we actually do here? So I don't know if any of you have seen it, but Father hit a shot on the school playground. It was, I think, was it 85 shots?
75 to get that first one, yeah.
75. And
wait a second. So 75 that we didn't see on social media, we just saw number 76. Is that the thing?
Well, he hit it on number 75, and you can't hear it, but when he throws the ball, if you listen really closely, he says, "Oh, just in time, just in time." It was perfect. So we had a really good sport, and we had another priest here too, Father Rockers, and between them, they had some different competitions. We got the kids involved so that the donors could see who it is that they're supporting. And the elementary school kids are always really excited to see fathers at all. And then you throw a competition into that, you just got a great crowd. And so that was a way to engage with our public, make them feel like they were here. And that's really what we set out to do, was have some fun, engage people, and gamify it in a sense. Make it that was the hardest part. Yeah. But how do you fundraise with the game? So in the end, it kind of worked as a marketing strategy. So it got the word out. But if you look at the numbers, we had 87 donors. And the way that we were able to get so much money from so few people, I guess, was that we had matching donations. Mm-hmm. So we had certain goals that we wanted to meet, and that just doubled the amount of money that we had. We had one donor come forward with $100,000.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And we know that matches are incredibly motivating for donors. Donors feel like they're holding on to their donation until they can get double their money for it. You know, they can use that match. And then the donors, the major donors who are offering that match, they love the ROI on that. They love that their gift can inspire other gifts. And this is part of iGiveCatholic, is that we know that celebrating generosity just inspires more generosity. So you guys are a beautiful witness and example to that. Those of you attendees who are watching, look at the reference doc. We have a list of links to their social media where they roll out their milestone challenges, because we had 2 series going. You had one series that was milestones, fundraising milestones, where certain things were going to happen at certain levels that you raised. Like when you raised $125,000, what did Father have to agree to do?
He has agreed, but he hasn't done it yet.
Oh, I was going to ask, have you gone skydiving yet? Oh,
We
man,
haven't done it yet. No.
You got to do it. You got to
I
do
know.
it.
We're talking about
And-
May.
I tell you
Good.
one thing, we definitely did not expect to hit that so easily. Had I known the top was going to be 250 plus 275, I think we would have set that milestone a little higher. But
Yes, but then you might not have gotten the bishop to challenge your community to reach 250,000 for that pilgrimage walk. So thank you guys so much for being here, for sharing your time. I know this all came from, we watched your Polar Plunge last year challenge, which was already kooky and wacky and fun. And this was just a magnification of that. Congratulations on your super successful campaign. We're so excited to see what you guys do this year. No pressure. And but yeah, attendees, go check out all those links to their social media pages. We're going to pop on over to our next participant. Have a wonderful day, Father and Alan. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, guys.
Hello, Anna Mullis from Lexington Catholic High School. Are you there?
I am. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here.
So you guys, so last year, for the attendees who don't know, last year, iGiveCatholic started a competition. We wanted to incentivize, we wanted to encourage organizations to create campaign videos that were short, but that got the message across of what organizations were trying to raise and fundraise for. And we put a little incentive on it, saying that the campaign video who received the most likes on Facebook or Instagram got $500 from iGiveCatholic. And you guys were the winners, so congratulations. And I know that it was about your theater and renovating your theater. So who created that video?
So we have a super talented communications director who works on our advancement team, and he's the one who recorded it, and together we created the concept and the script, if you will. And because we're talking about the theater and the drama department, of course that was an easy bunch of folks to work with. They made it simple, they made it fun to tell their story and really convey the message and the call to action that we wanted to convey.
That's really awesome. Okay, now here's the big question though. How'd you get so many likes? I have to remember, I think you had something over 400 likes on that video. How'd you do it?
So, you know, a lot of folks have referenced that friendly competition, and I think your all's incentive really made us want to win that. So we're big believers in also utilizing text. So we text the link out to the video to our community, social media, website, electronic newsletters. So we basically canvassed our whole area with the video, and not only did it spread the word, but it helped us to get lots of likes to win the competition. So always a good motivator.
That was the whole point, is that really not only are you getting likes to help you in the competition, but then more people become aware of your campaign. And it was such an excellent video in that it showed the need and the impact. And that's what we're always recommending for our organizations, like inspire someone by showing what the need is and showing what the potential impact can be. And I love that your students are so involved with that. So that was really fantastic. And so you've participated for 4 years. And so have you picked a project for this coming year?
It's funny, today we had a meeting with one of our board committees, and we were tossing around some ideas for our focus need for next year's campaign. So we're starting to gear up, and I think we know what it will be. So hopefully we'll have great success. Each year iGiveCatholic has done better and better for us. And so I anticipate it will continue to grow and prosper.
That's super exciting. Well, congratulations, Anna. We'll watch you this year and see what that project is. And we're excited to see what you guys do with your campaign this year.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being with us. Next up is Jackie Carlin from the Shrine of St. Martin de Tours in Archdiocese of Louisville. Let's see if Jackie's here. Yep, here she comes. Go ahead and unmute yourself and turn your video on, Jackie. Jackie, you there?
One sec, we have two Jackie Carlins in here, so I'm wondering if
Oh,
maybe it's this other one.
all right, Jackie, do you have mute on either? I mean, can you unmute yourself on one of these? Oh, I see an unmute. Can you turn your video on, Jackie?
Can you see me?
Now I can. Welcome,
Yay!
Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, Jackie, I want to tell all of the attendees here, this was your very first iGiveCatholic, wasn't it?
Yes, it was our very first one.
And how much did your parish raise?
We raised almost $103,000.
Whoa! So that means you had some trickle in after the Giving Day closed. Is that right? You continued to receive
We
gifts?
did.
That's wonderful.
We did.
Because by the time because that happens all the time, and I love to hear it. Publicly on your page, if somebody looks at your page, it looks like you raised $74,000. But we know that some people don't believe in deadlines, and that's okay. That means that a check comes after we stop counting. That's wonderful. 100,000. You reached your goal.
We did. We absolutely did. It was phenomenal.
And I have heard that it was really because you were smart to recruit a volunteer committee to help you get the word around. Can you tell me about that? How did you find volunteers that you knew would be willing to help you get across the finish line here?
Well, ironically, right before we started learning about the iGiveCatholic campaign, we had been designated as a shrine. So we became a diocesan shrine by the Archdiocese of Louisville. And so our pastor, Father Beach, had hand-selected this small group of 3 volunteers to help transition some of the things from our parish to a shrine. And when he asked them if they would if they would oversee the iGiveCatholic, they all said yes. Everybody always said yes. And so part of the, not part, but the majority of our success was the people that he selected based on their business experience, based on their ability to volunteer, based on their desire to keep our shrine in the most positive light and keep it strong and keeping all of those, that they were very, very willing to say yes and keep saying yes. So him having the insight to pick that group, and that group becoming a cohesive group to do this campaign has been phenomenal.
That's really great. How often did they meet, or did you direct them? Did you meet with them in person? Was this a regular, how long did they work together? How was that process like?
We met every week. We did a Zoom call every week. I was more of the detail gatherer. I was just kind of, tell me what tasks I can help with and what information you need. And so we had a leader emerge from the group as far as overseeing the agenda and kind of keeping everything updated. But I have been, in my long career, I have been on many, many, many committees. But this committee, everybody's volunteering to help with everything. Nobody said no. And before you could even ask somebody was raising their hand saying, I'll take that. Let me do this. Let me talk to so-and-so. And so having that cohesiveness in such a small group to be able to make such progress, again, was just phenomenal.
That's really great, because I hear all the time about parishes, especially rural parishes, or maybe smaller parishes that don't have a big staff, and they say, we just don't have the capacity to run a campaign that can really do much. But you show the power of engaging with volunteers and letting them help you. And I've seen it before. Sometimes an individual volunteer runs an entire campaign and just knocks it out the ballpark. How did you get the word around to solicit your donations? How did they get the word around too?
Well, we decided very early on when we started the campaign that we were going to follow all the tools that were given to us, and
Smart
because
lady.
it was and to our utter amazement, all of those materials guided us through the entire process. And so literally we took the materials that the campaign had provided. We put our logo on, we just, inserted our logo, we inserted our QR code, we inserted our link. we were using cell phone pictures to put on our webpage. And so it was such an easy process that made it look like we were creating everything from much less. And all we did was take the materials that were already there. We followed the timeline. We just kind of went through that process following what you all gave us, and it was perfect and it was flawless.
That makes my heart so happy, Jackie. Our DNA, we were founded to be plug and play, turnkey, leveling the playing field. Really makes us so happy to hear when ministries say that, well, we just did what you recommended we do and it worked. I'm glad to hear it, Jackie. Congratulations.
Yes.
Looking forward to seeing what you guys do this coming year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up is Frederick Ackerblom from St. Joseph College Seminary in the Diocese of Charlotte. Hello, Frederick.
Oh, let's see. Now I'm unmuted. Now I'm going to turn on the video. Here we go.
Hi there. Oh, look at that beautiful drawing behind you. Welcome.
Yes.
Frederick. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Same here.
I see that so I know that you have previously participated in iGiveCatholic International Ministries page, and then you shifted over to the Diocese of Charlotte when they became a partner last year. So
Right.
you were, an experienced veteran by the time some of your colleague ministries in your diocese were doing this for the first time. But then there's no surprise then that you raised almost $63,000 last year for your seminary. Is that right?
Yeah. No, it's been great. I'd say that, the iGiveCatholic, the picture in the background, by the way, is our upcoming chapel construction. And we're in a very much of a capital fundraising phase over the past 8 years, which is coincides with the first 8 years of our existence. So this iGiveCatholic Day, it kind of provides me with an opportunity to engage with our friends in a way that is much more kind of low-key, fun, and allows folks to give on a much smaller scale and still feel that they're part of something. So for us, it has been really important to select projects every year that really make sense. They can't be too expensive. They have to be easy to understand for people so that there's a strong correlation to the seminary. And if they are useful for us and understandable and reasonably priced, we can succeed, kind of.
Yeah. So this campaign was in addition to your capital campaign,
Yes.
a separate one, because I think that capital campaign was a rather large one that you finished in December as well. How many million was that one?
So the current one was 22, and since the price has gone up some, so it's more like 20, 25, 26. And the first capital campaign we had was 20.5 million. So this is on a totally different scale. And honestly, I'd say the money is not as important as the opportunity to just have a day of fun communication about the seminary life here with our friends that is on a different level. It has no other kind of motive. I think the engagement is honestly a lot more important to us than the money.
I agree, but I want to commend you. There are so many organizations who say, well, we're in the middle of the capital campaign. We can't ask for anything else. But you're showing that that's not really true. You're kind of, you're putting limitations on generosity. You're putting limitations on your community and thinking that maybe everybody is more interested in or looking at your capital campaign when in reality you recognize that there are some people that would be more interested in you helping to build a grotto in honor of your ladies and to build a retention pond to save money on your irrigation water. I mean, the practical and prayerful, elements of your seminary. So that's really smart of you. And Katie tells me in your conversation that really your focus is year-round cultivation of your community, inviting them on the campus to experience the seminary so that you can know who these people are and what they might be interested in. I think that's a fantastic approach. I think it's definitely a winning approach to really build these relationships and honor them. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, so this becomes another touch point, and it also, frankly, strategically will help me once the capital fundraising is over in a year or so to transfer into more kind of a building of annual giving programs. People are conditioned that there are kind of recurring asks for smaller amounts. So it all kind of fits in nicely.
Well, congratulations. I'll be excited to see, what new project you bring on this year for this year's I Give Catholic campaign. And I
Yep.
bet your community is excited too. A
Yeah.
winning team loves to be on a winning team, and they love to see the impact of their gifts. And so
Yep.
these tours, they're probably so excited to see when these projects start construction and then
Right.
finish construction. So congratulations, and I'm excited to hear about how, everything that you're planning comes to fruition over these next few years.
Thank you so much. Yeah, people have come to expect it. That's the way it is.
And it's, you know what, you've trained them well. You've invited them into mission with you, and so congratulations. And thank you for being with us and sharing that with us, Frederick, today.
Thank you.
If you're following along on the list for the reference document, we have not yet seen the representative from Second Harvest Food Bank, so we're going to skip over her for a moment to see if she might come. If she comes later, then we will pop her in. But right now, we're going to talk to Leah Mim from Epiphany Cathedral Catholic School in Venice, Florida. Hello, Leah. How are you?
Good. How are you? I was
Good.
unprepared because you skipped the.
I'm sorry. I was too, but thank goodness I have Katie here helping me to stay. I don't see Heather yet. So thank you for jumping in the hot seat.
Oh, yeah. All good.
Did I see your name correctly? Leah Mim?
Yes. Leah Mim. Yep.
Great. Glad to hear it. Now, I remember you, Leah, because I remember that you signed up for iGiveCatholic after seeing iGiveCatholic at the ICSC conference last October. So you
Yes.
were late to the party, and still you raised $85,000 in your campaign.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a really good day. Mhm.
That is pretty incredible. So tell me a little bit about what your strategy was to kind of throw together this last minute, or not this last minute, because you came in October. It wasn't last minute, but it was later than others. So tell me a little.
Yeah, I mean, we had plans to already participate in GivingTuesday. And then I had been wanting to partner with iGiveCatholic for a couple years and just didn't have the chance to do it. And so then when I saw you at the conference, then I was like, oh, we're doing it this year. This is great. And just the strategies that you gave us, that was a lot of stuff that we were already doing, which was reassuring. And then to kind of add that into the rest of our campaign was really great. We had a pretty specific raise this year. We were raising to afford a police officer for the year. So, and we also have like the median age in Venice, Florida is 69, I want to say. So we have a little bit of an older community, and so we have, and we are a parish school, so we do rely a lot on our parishioners. Yeah, I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's really great. But I heard that you were strategic about the fact that you have those snowbirds in town and like how you might engage with them. And
Yeah.
And what I heard from Katie is that you recognize that many of them may not be comfortable going online to enter their credit card information. So what did you do,
Yeah.
smart lady?
Yeah, so that we've learned this just from the past couple of years when we've done any online giving is some of our elderly are a little uncomfortable with sharing their information online. They don't know how to do it. They're trying to do it from their phone, or they don't have a computer at home. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons why it's kind of difficult for them. So we have daily mass at 8 o'clock. So I had announced, days leading up to it, and then on actual GivingTuesday that I would be out in front of the church. And if anyone needed help processing payments, that I would be there for like an hour and a half after mass. We had also promoted that time that I would be there. So even if you didn't attend the daily mass and you still wanted help, you could come during that time. And that was very helpful. And then even when we we have a local kind of giving day, we did the same thing. And it's just very beneficial. They feel better about it. It's easier on them, and it gets them into the routine of knowing that we're going to be able to provide that service for them.
So it's just easy. You're just sitting there and they can just run it right there. You already have the scanner or whatever. Is it like a square thing that you put in your phone?
I mean, I just typed it all in.
Oh, so you didn't win it super simple then. You just got it there, you typed it for them.
Yes.
So anybody can do this.
Yeah. And what I've also found is it gives me a little bit of time to chit chat with them. It's names that I see, but I don't maybe know what they're, know who they are. So that gave me an opportunity to engage them in conversation. And so now they know my face, they get a ton of emails from me, but they don't know what I look like, that sort of thing was, very helpful.
That's really great. Well, congratulations. This was a really tremendous effort for your first time. And I think it was so smart of you to really show up at those masses and be ready to do the work for them. I mean, we recommend and you were a school, so you're at your parish masses, but we recommend that for our parishes too, like put up a table, and be at the masses, but even daily masses. It's really great to see that, that worked out well too.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, for sharing
you're welcome.
those tips. And I hope that we can bring in your diocese to support you this year, or maybe next year. We'll see if they come on. But regardless, we will love to see how you guys do this year.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and now I think we are trying to bring on Heather Sweeney from Second Harvest Food Bank. I think we figured out what the challenge was. I think she used a login from her local administrator, and so we have 4 of the same name. We didn't know that was actually Heather. So is she a panelist now, Katie?
We are working on it. It looks like there are 4 Ronan Canutos in here, and it is one of them. So give me one moment here. We're about to, because unfortunately, it doesn't allow me in the chat to figure out which one is which.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I have an idea. So all of you Ronan Canutos, we're going to elevate all of you to panelists. If you're not Heather, please don't unmute yourself, or you can turn your video on if you want us to see you. But if you're Heather, then you can turn on your video and unmute yourself. And then whenever we find the real Heather, is this the real Heather? Yay, real Heather! Well, wait, I can't hear you too well, Heather. Can you lean in a little bit? It sounds like you were, can you speak again?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you a little bit. So we're just going to make sure that we listen carefully with you. Your volume is just very low.
Yeah, I've heard that on my laptop, and I don't know what the problem is.
It's getting better. It's better already.
I'm sorry, I realized that was my bad. Probably, I think I didn't actually register, and I just clicked on the link in the email.
Well, that's okay. We found you, and we thank you for being flexible to juggle a little bit, and we're happy to talk with you today. I love the topic that we're talking with you about today. So Heather Sweeney is the Director of Development for Second Harvest Food Bank for the Archdiocese of New Orleans. And I love the strategy that we're talking about today is the postcard that you send out to a targeted list of donors to help you. And you had a goal of 30,000 this year, and you actually raised 42,000. Do you think it was mostly from that postcard, or do you do email, or talk to me about your strategy?
Yeah, I think the 2 major changes that we did this year was 1, this postcard, and then 2, some more personal outreach to our major donors, the $1,000 plus donors. That's where we saw a big difference. But we've been doing iGiveCatholic Day from the very beginning. And this is the first time that we've tried mailing out a postcard. And it seems to have been pretty successful. Just, last year, well, in 2022, we raised $23,000 from 172 donors.
Wow.
In 2023, it was 42,600 from 204 donors.
So that's a big jump.
So that was a big jump, and it's also been in the context of a challenging year where a lot of our other fundraising campaigns are down.
Yeah, and nationally, it has been kind of flat for most organizations. So to see you have an increase is really great. And so that I saw in Katie's notes that you had a targeted list of donors who would receive that postcard. Who were you going after to kind of narrow that?
So we worked with our direct mail agency to select the audience. Their recommendation was to keep the cost down and only mail to 2,500 of the best prospects from our donor base. So they chose a group of donors who give online and offline. So either throughout the year, they'll give through our website and they'll respond to direct mail. That total group was about 6,100.
Okay.
And then they have a way of scoring our donors for every mailing that just predicts how likely they are to respond. And so they chose, the top scores until they got to 2,500 people.
So for those of you who are listening, in the reference document, there is a link to Heather's postcard. So you can look at what she included in there. And there was a call to action, immediate call to action, as well as a QR code for somebody to give online. And then what was the timing of it? When did it hit the mailboxes? What did you time it at?
I think most people got them the Friday before Thanksgiving.
Oh, great.
So it was
okay.
Really, and that's sometimes really hard to time that close when you're working with the mail.
Yeah. What I normally recommend with people is, like, if you're sending something like this, is to time it to arrive towards the beginning of advanced giving, not before advanced giving, but when you get the postcard, you can make the gift now. You don't have to wait a week. You don't have to remember. You can make
now
the gift.
In our case, we send out a lot of direct mail. So donors are getting other direct mail pieces throughout the month of November, probably maybe even 3 that they might, they'll get a newsletter. They might even get 2 solicitations. And so the postcard really does help it stand out because everything else we send out is in an envelope. And
so that's really great, though, again, because when we talk to organizations who have multiple fundraising campaigns through the year, maybe they have an annual appeal, iGiveCatholic is different because it's event-based and it's a short timeline. So adding some urgency to it, having it a postcard, it stands out, it's easy, it's quick. That's a really great strategy. I'm glad it worked out. And it sounds like, so you use this direct mail company, you probably paid a premium to use them, but then you benefited from their knowledge and their wisdom and their guidance.
Exactly.
So it's one of those efforts where sometimes it pays to invest in something, and the return is much larger than your initial investment. So great job.
So we spent about $1,500 on this postcard, and then we had 54 donations, and those donors gave almost $10,000.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, thank you for that. That's a great idea, and it's something we're going to start promoting. Those of you listening, in our marketing toolkit this year, we have added a section on direct mail, on mailed appeals, because we know that even though iGiveCatholic is online, using a mailed piece or anything printed is a great way to attract many of your donors. And so thank you, Heather, for being proof positive in that incorporating that in your campaign can have big results. Thanks, Heather, and sorry for the mix-up, and I'm glad.
Sorry, I think that was my fault.
Jump in anyway. Have a great afternoon.
All right, thank you.
Now I welcome Isabella Wagner from the Pontifical Mission Society to unmute herself and turn her video on so we can see you. Where are you, Bella? I see you. Here you come. Hello, Bella. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful now that I'm with you all. So thanks for having me.
Goodness. Flattery will get you everywhere. I need to give a little bit of preface here to those who are watching. The Pontifical Mission Society is an international Catholic organization, and you work for the Pontifical Mission Society of the U.S., so it's a national ministry. So you are the only partner that is not a diocese of iGiveCatholic. And can you tell us why you partnered with us, what you were trying to use iGiveCatholic for as a tool?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've done GivingTuesday campaigns in the past as Pontifical Missions, but this was our first year with iGiveCatholic, and we really wanted to use this as a tool for our diocesan directors. So as Pontifical Mission Societies, we are a part of your local missions office. So some of the people on the call may know of their missions office or may have heard of the Society for the Propagation of the Faith, but we really wanted to use this as a way to engage our diocesan directors that are within our diocesan offices.
Great. And it sounds like, from what I already know from bringing you on, a lot of your diocesan offices weren't used to fundraising. They weren't used to using social media, or certainly not a giving day, or these online tools. And it sounds very similar to a lot of our dioceses and what they're working with. And even like an organization who's considering joining iGiveCatholic or participating and saying, oh, but can I do this? So I'm looking here. So what was your focus with doing it? It sounded like you were trying to reactivate your donor base, right? Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So we're a 200-year-old organization, but are obviously not many people know about us and what we do and the good work that we do around the world. I mean, our main mission is to fundraise for the Pope's missions worldwide. And so we contribute to that greater mission of the Universal Church, right? And so, as you're saying, a lot of our diocesan directors, they're juggling many things, as a lot of the people in our diocesan offices do. And so their main focus can't be fundraising. And so we knew that iGiveCatholic would be an easy way to get them engaged and to sort of introduce them to this easy one-day sort of fundraiser where, you know, they had all the resources available to them. We were there as sort of their support team, just like you were for us, and sort of teaching them some strategies using the resources in the partner resource portal. And then, yeah, just kind of giving them a taste of what they can do as fundraisers. But we also had some robust dioceses, like Boston was our top contributor.
How'd they do it?
Oh,
I mean, they
yeah,
raised
no.
$30,000, didn't they?
Oh, yes, that all goes to Maureen in our diocesan office. And that had to do with just her relationships with her donors, because she's been in that position for a really long time. And that was the sort of relationship that we wanted the newer partners to get with their donors, right? For people who haven't been engaging in that way.
Yeah, so it sounds a lot like Frederick, that we spoke with earlier in the seminary. It's about developing relationships with your community. And it's not just asking on Giving Tuesday, because people aren't going to necessarily respond on Giving Tuesday if you haven't built up that rapport, built up that relationship. And then I think you even had some peer-to, you know, San Bernardino, there was a priest, who's your mission director, who worked in peer-to-peer. So that was, I guess, part of it as well. Was he also leaning on his relationships to support their new campaign?
Absolutely. I think that that's really the bread and butter of this whole campaign, right? Is that you are the fundraiser, right? Is that, you know, sort of leveraging your personal relationships, because obviously if people know that you're passionate about your cause, passionate about your mission, they're going to want to give because they know you and they trust you and they know that you're working hard to make that happen. So yeah,
So
all around it was great.
Being an ambassador for your organization in all you're doing and with all the people that you meet and interact with. Great. Yes. Those are some really great advice for just fundraising in general, really. And I hope it really helped. I can't wait to see if you have more diocesan offices participate this year and see how it grows this year in your campaign. Thanks for being on here today, Bella.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye. And next up, we invite Ryan Beasley from the Cathedral of Christ the King in Atlanta to hop on. Ryan, I loved your project this year. Let's see.
Thank you.
There you are. Nice to meet you, Ryan.
Nice to meet you as well.
So tell us, what were you fundraising for this year?
ADA buttons within our cathedral. So we had a couple of parishioners reach out over the years. It might be as long as 5-10 years in the running, of asking, why do we not have as much accessibility to the cathedral and to other parts of our building for those that have mobility issues? Because we, you know, in a cathedral, you have big, massive wooden doors that are really heavy. So we thought adding this addition would be perfect timing with our offertory campaign, which was Come to the Altar. Well, how can we welcome people to our altar? By opening the doors. And we wanted to make everyone to feel welcome, and we wanted everyone to know that there are no limitations to being able to come to the altar. So that was kind of our mindset of how to really engage in that. We had some other topics too that we pondered about, but what I have found about our cathedral is people want tangible items that they're donating to. And if they can see it, they're going to support it. If they can feel the difference, they're going to support it. So my encouragement to everyone here is, if you felt like your campaign came up a little bit short, or you want to shoot for the stars more next year, really tap into you know, something that's going to stand out to everyone. And we kind of even went off topic slightly and mentioned it to young parents as well, of having a diaper bag and carrying a toddler and car seat. Look, I have 3 kids.
That's
trying
not
to get
off
into
topic.
yeah, it's wild. So we try to expand it, but within respect of the main reason being for the elderly and those with mobility issues.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. And for those of you, again, listening, on the resource page, there are some links to Instagram posts that you have of pictures. And on your profile page, and looking back, I may update this so that you can see your profile page. All of your giving levels had a picture of a wheelchair in front of one of your doors. And what a beautiful way to illustrate the impact of this campaign is that that wheelchair can't go through that door by itself, you know, and that this campaign opens the doors for whatever person who would be sitting in that wheelchair. I mean, I commend you on that. We say all the time, use images to inspire generosity, and you just hit the nail on the head with all of those beautiful images of that empty wheelchair in front of all those closed doors, because it does pull at your heartstrings, because you say, oh gosh, we need to be able to help that person get through those doors, right?
Absolutely. And big thanks to our Director of Communications, Tim Dursky, did a fantastic job. We worked together to collaborate those ideas. So I think it's fair to mention his name because he was just as big a part. That was actually my first full week working here, was iGiveCatholic. So I got thrown right into
$76,000 after your first week. That's a good first week, I'm going to say. Kudos to you and your communications director then.
Yes. And we changed our goal, I think, 2 or 3 times because we had a matching gift that was very helpful with our campaign as well. And we just continued to raise the bar and raise the bar and raise the bar.
Okay, so then what was your first goal?
50,000.
50,000. And that's, I'm glad to hear that. That was a surprise kernel for me, but I'm really glad to hear that. And I am going to update the reference document because we encourage that all the time. If you think you're going to meet your goal, increase your goal. You can change your goal at any time during the campaign from your dashboard, and you want to keep responding to how your donors are responding to your appeals, and continue to challenge them and show them the impact of those gifts. Well, congratulations, Ryan. I'm excited to hear. I know, I trust and believe that you and your communications director will show pictures of those buttons and the opening doors and videos maybe on your social media when you get those installed.
So they just got installed last week. So they're functioning. We are planning on launching some new posts soon. We just had a couple of kinks with the electronics. We
Tag
are
iGiveCatholic, and we'll share them nationally so we can celebrate with you and show just in general of our community the possibilities of what, you know, a community can do when you come together for iGiveCatholic. So congratulations.
I would look for that next week. We'll probably post those next week because we're ironing out the final little snags Friday.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it. Thanks for being here, Ryan. Thank you for sharing your pearls of wisdom. And I wish you tons of success in your second iGiveCatholic campaign.
I appreciate it.
All right. And last up, intentionally, we're going to close with a big guy here, Father Beau Charbonnet from St. Angela Merici Catholic Church. He's not that big of a guy, but boy, is he a big personality and incredible, successful with iGiveCatholic. So I'm so excited that Father Beau could join us here today. Father Beau, can you turn your video on, please? And microphone. There you are. I see you, but I don't hear you. And we need you to unmute yourself. Nope. Try now.
Mute.
There you are. Hi, Father Beau.
Hey, Lisa, Katie, how are you?
Great. And for those of you attending, you might recognize this face and this backdrop if you happen to see our pastor testimony last year. We did a little interview with Father Beau to ask about his success. And it's so funny, it's in the reference doc, but it kind of goes back to what Ryan just said at Cathedral in Atlanta. You know, Father Beau said his advice, his 3-point advice to any parish or organization choosing a project. What are they, Father Beau?
Specific, visible, and achievable.
I mean, that's just a beautiful formula right there. And boy, did you translate that over these past 8 years so incredibly well. But I want to go back, way back to 2015. When you first heard about iGiveCatholic, what did you think?
I guess when I first heard about it, I got information about it. It seemed like, I guess, one more thing to do as a pastor. We have so many things on our plate, and it could have been, in my opinion, it could have been a fly-by-night campaign. Is this going to have any traction? Is it going to work at all? And there was another pastor who was very successful with it. And I thought, well, if I do nothing, I'll get nothing. But this is a wave that's kind of riding through the diocese. If I get $1, that's $1 I didn't have prior to that. So we gave it a shot in 2016, the second year of iGiveCatholic.
Yeah. And sorry, go ahead.
And the first one we looked at, I really wanted to get some magnolia trees against a back fence to kind of help our property aesthetically. And we went for 15 magnolia trees for, I think, $15,000, and we got it. And that first year was kind of pulling teeth, because I advertised it somewhat, but then I had to call some people saying, hey, do you want to jump on board? And we achieved the goal, put the trees up, people saw it, and they loved it.
Yeah. And then you had a few more years where you were just kind of chugging along, and you had, 16, that was 16, and 17, 18, 19, 20, you were about 20. The average was $23,000 that you raised each year, and they were chugging along with the expected amount. And then what happened in 2021?
Our 2021, we had a meeting. We needed an organ, and our organ was falling apart, about 40 years old. And so we were looking at an organ that would cost about $100,000.
That's a big jump from 23,000.
Yeah, and we received a really generous gift from a parishioner that passed on, and we could have done it very easily with that. And then one of our staff members, Audrey Huck, who was working for us at that time, said, why don't you do this through iGiveCatholic? And part of me wanted to do the thing immediately, and I said it would involve waiting a year. So we waited a year, and we said, okay, we'll go for $50,000, which is double the amount of what we got in the previous campaign. And then we made $27,000 in 2019. And so we went for 50. And by Monday of iGiveCatholic, we hit 50. And I wanted to be, I guess, a good steward with our people to say, hey, we hit it. If you don't have to keep on giving, but if you do, we'd like to go for the entire organ plus the choir loft. And by the next day, we had $106,000.
That's amazing. Just believing. Yeah, the believing. And you told me when we were having this conversation, inviting people into mission, inviting people to journey with you in these beautiful campaigns. And then, for those of you who haven't noticed in the past, in the top 10 leaderboard in 2022, you doubled that, more than doubled that total than last year. So it was funny. In 2022, I think you had raised, I have it here, $289,000, including the trickle in after the official total close for your new Holy Family Hall, the construction project. And when I talked to you in August of last year to do the video on the pastor testimony, you said, well, I don't want to expect that our community is going to be that generous again this year. So we're going to lower our goal for our new Adoration Chapel. And I think that goal was $185,000. And then what happened?
Yeah, so we shot for 207 the previous year, hit ultimately 289. And then this year, so okay, let's go for 185. Try for 185.
Yeah.
And we ended up pulling in, I think, on iGiveCatholic Tuesday, a total of 339,000. And so we're now at 364, I think. So it almost doubled what we expected. It about 505 people donating. And now it's, I think, over 540 donating. So it's just been great to see the response of our people.
Yeah, over 8 years of them just journeying with you. And St. Angela is so lucky to have you as a pastor for these entire 8 years. That continuity has been so beautiful for it too.
I'm blessed to have them.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful marriage. Well, we don't know how long it's going to last. I have on the reference document links to their beautiful and links and suggestions that you gave, really great suggestions to your campaign video that was super helpful. Your appeal letter that you said, a produced campaign video and an appeal letter is what you added in 2021 that really helped you make that jump to 106. So as much goes to like what Heather said previously about, adding these different components to reach them in different ways and really share your vision and inspire that generosity. But besides those specific strategies that we do have in the reference document for folks to look at, any thoughts about how this has grown so much in your community over 8 years? What has been this experience been like with your community?
Well, the strength, I think, of iGiveCatholic is that it's something that's in the culture now, in Catholic culture. It's a wave that's riding. So as a pastor, you're not the one initiating the campaign. It's not just on you. It's not just your idea, which some people, you know, when you see something in a sense like going across the nation, even in secular culture, plus in the church, you realize, okay, this is something everybody just doing. And you ride that wave, and I find it's been very, very effective. But on top of that, I think that the biggest thing is just being there, showing up, and loving your people. You know, it's getting out there, being there for the emergency calls, being there to serve them, to love them, showing up over and over again. That's where you planted the seeds. And iGiveCatholic is just a good fruit of just a lot of prayer and a lot of love and a lot of connectivity with your given ministry. And I love my parish so much. And I think it's exciting to be a part of something like this and to see us as a team come together to do something great for God.
That's really great, Father Bo. Thank you so much. And that goes back to echoing some other panelists talking about, you know, cultivation and stewardship is about relationships, true, honest relationships.
Amen.
You can't just ask for money on Giving Tuesday and expect people to pull out their wallets, you know, building that relationship year round. Thank you, Father Bo, so much.
You're welcome.
We are 2 minutes over, so I'm gonna quickly share a timeline of kind of what's to come. Someone asked earlier, when is the earliest that somebody can set up their iGiveCatholic profile for 2024? Well, registration opens on August 19th. That is for anyone who participates in iGiveCatholic on Giving Tuesday. Registration starts August 19th, when you can start setting up your profile. But you can start planning your campaign before that. We've got our Getting Ready webinar on August 28th. And then you see here, registration closes on November 1st. We've got our second webinar, Final Steps to Success, mid-November, right before Advanced Giving opens on the 18th. Giving Tuesday is later this year on December 3rd. That is the deadline for online gifts. And then you can continue to enter offline gifts for another week until December 10th. And that's where you enter any remaining cash checks that you received after the fact, so we can continue to celebrate that generosity, which then inspires more generosity. At this point, we are now we're done with our program, with our webinar, talking to all 10 of our panelists. It was kind of speed dating, it felt like. It was so fast. But if anybody has any questions, we're here. Go ahead and drop them in the chat, Q&A. But know that the reference document and the recording to this webinar will be available on the trainings page shortly, and for the entire 2024 iGiveCatholic campaign for anybody who missed it today. Any other chats, any other questions that folks have? Oh, I just hear a thank you. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. We believe in #holy plagiarism. You know, we're all on Team Christ. Rising tides lift all boats. So we love to hear all these beautiful ideas, sharing them out so everyone can benefit from them. Let's see if there's any other questions that were answered that might be helpful to make sure that everyone knows. I think that's about it. So not too many questions here. Just some thank yous. Well, then thank you. Thank you for being ambassadors for your ministries, your parishes, your schools. Thank you for being a part of the iGiveCatholic community. It is truly my joy and blessing to get to shepherd this amazing ministry, this amazing kind of collaboration and co-op. And we will see you in a few months for registration and for our Getting Ready webinar. Till then, I wish you some fantastic meetings, planning out some really fantastic campaigns this year. We can't wait to see what generosity you inspire in support of your ministry, school, or parish. Thanks so much. Take care. God bless. Oh, question just popped in. Oh, thanks for the great ideas. Okay, we'll still go. Thank you.